Joining us now is OjyOkpe, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Janik.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you this morning? Great. I heard you giggle. You can't help yourself, right? Try. How are you, Ayo?
I'm very well, thanks.
Great.
How are you too?
I'm doing excellent this morning.
Outfit and
you know,
color.
this is my favorite color too. Yeah, well, now I love yours too.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In Italy, Pope Francis on Wednesday asked for prayers for late Nigerian Reverend Father Isaac Achi, a priest of St. Peter and Paul Catholic Church in Niger State, who was burnt to death when gunmen attacked his residence on Sunday, January 15. The assailants also shot a colleague of the priest, identified as Father Collins, while he was trying to escape. In a Twitter post, the Pope, in his request for prayers, condemned the attack on Christians in the northern part of the country, stating that Christians continue to be a target of violence. In Nigeria, a federal high court in Abuja has struck out a suit seeking the disqualification of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima, from participating in the election on the grounds that the nomination of the Muslim candidacy was unconstitutional. The presiding judge, Ahmed Mohammed, struck out the suit filed by Osigwe Momo on the grounds that he was not a member of the APC and as such lacked the locus standi to file the suit. Then, supporters of the People's Democratic Party trooped out in their numbers for the presidential rally held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, on Wednesday. The rally featured the presence of Atiku Abubakar, the party's presidential candidate, as well as Irocha Ayu, the national chairman of the party. While the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his running mate, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, held a campaign rally in the northern state of Kaduna, the home state of Dati Baba Ahmed, where they were welcomed by a mammoth crowd. Finally, under entertainment, British-Nigerian soul jazz vocalist Sade, African-American rapper Snoop Dogg, and Latin-American soul singer Gloria Estefan have been chosen among 7 musicians to join the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Snoop Dogg, whose hits include Drop It Like It's Hot, will be joining rappers like Missy Elliott and Jay-Z in the Hall's Rappers category, while Gloria Estefan, who is credited for popularizing Latin rhythms with crossover smashes like Let's Get Loud, and Sade, whose 1980s soft rock hits include Smooth Operator and The Sweetest Taboo, will all be inducted at a gala on June 15th at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in New York City. Now I know your favorite musicians. You hear Dr. Bati was singing. We do miss Sade. I'm waiting for another release, really. Well, all right. Let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing statements made by the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria's People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, at the Chatham House on Wednesday, in which he took a swipe at the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. The former Kano State governor, while speaking at the Policy Institute, said that he withdrew from the discussion of alliance with the Labour Party because the party was built on ethnicity and religion and was carried away by the media hype, adding that he is more qualified than Peter Obi to become the next president of Nigeria. Citing his qualifications, the NNPP flag bearer also stated that he is ready for a discussion with any presidential candidate who has better qualifications than he does. Let's take a listen before we take some reactions.
If you have a party which is based on ethnicity and religion, that's the difference between Labour Party and, of course, our party, which is a national party, New Nigeria People's Party. Let me say that I was one of those initially wanting to work together with Labour Party. But unfortunately, at that time, Labour Party was under very serious media hype, and therefore they could not see reason. And you still not see reason that I will withdraw. I wish you didn't go to that extent. I am a PhD holder in civil engineering, and check your candidate, what he has. I have been in the system for over 30 years now. I have been a civil servant for 17 years. I wasn't a trader. Civil servant for 17 years. I was Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps in 1992. I was in the Constitutional Conference elected delegate. I was governor of Kano State for 8 years, and so on and so. I was in the Senate, and so on and so forth. So when we sat down, what I told them is what I will tell you.
Okay.
If anybody wants to Kwankwaso to withdraw, let's bring criteria and select the best. Anytime I have any better candidate, I'm ready to talk to him. Thank you very much.
Well, all right, let's take some tweets. Dev Guy wrote, neither of you wanted to be each other's vibes, so you both went your separate ways. Kwankwaso is a Muslim from the north, so his base is naturally Muslim north. Nothing strange in Christians giving their overwhelming support to Peter Obi. How many times has this man visited the south to campaign? Well, Onishi wrote, one smart move Peter Obi made was to leave PDP, but the smartest move he made was to go without Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso showed his hatred for Peter Obi by disparaging him, his party, and his tribe. Because someone asked him why he did not step down for Obi, his answer showed that he is tribal. Well, another Twitter user there goes, if Peter Obi didn't come into play, if he accepted defeat at PDP and didn't push forward, there would have been 3 top Muslim candidates, Tinubu, Atiku, and Kwankwaso. Directly or indirectly, Nigeria is on a path to Islamization. Call it conspiracy theory, but it is what it is. Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay, let's try to break down, the points made by Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso at Chatham House. I had written a piece talking about Chatham House and the real colonization of Nigeria, so I will not go into that. But let's look at some of the issues you raised. When we had Folashade Adiu on the program, just before you joined us, we drew our attention to the fact that, look, Dr. Kwankwaso seemed to have made too much capital out of, Labour Party. He even described the Labour Party as a party that is a Andrew liver salt, that is sustained by media, and she tried to provide a defense for that. But he's complaining about ethnicity. The truth of the matter is that even in his own presentation, he admitted that his party is more popular in the north than in the south. And there will be persons who will say, look, the main strength of the New Nigeria Party is People's Party is in the north. So if he says the Labour Party is strong, has some inroad in the southeast, the same argument can be made for his party. Now, he said the Labour Party, that he's a PhD holder in civil engineering, he's not a trader. Well, I don't think it's fair to put anybody down as a trader. I'll come to think about PhD. I don't know when Dr. Kwankwaso got his own PhD. I got mine 32 years ago, in 1990. But the argument about having a PhD conferring upon you leadership qualities is wrong. They tried it in Mexico between 1984 and maybe 1998. They had this set of, PhD economics. All of them, they have PhD either from Harvard or from Yale. Okay, and in economics, they became president one after the other. Salinas, Zedillo, and Golinas. These were PhD Harvard. No, they could not rescue Mexico. In fact, the PhD holders ran the country down. So you need something more than a PhD to be able to provide leadership. So Mr. Peter Obi was dismissed as a trader, and people say that a lot. But look, he's a university graduate. He's not just a university graduate, he's a very well-educated person. I've mentioned on this program before that this is a guy, who has been in some of the top universities abroad, developing himself. I was in the same class with him in Oxford, Said Business School, and he was an asset to the class. From there, he went to Harvard to go and do another course. From there, he went to Switzerland to do another course. So there's nothing wrong in being a trader. In fact, maybe, having trading skills, could even be an advantage. So this is why we keep making the point that, look, focus on your own issues. You don't need to put other candidates down or engage in the politics of abuse. Anyway, I'm not defending Peter Obi. I'm just speaking out of what I know. I'm sure his obedience will be ready to defend him. However, there were other issues raised by Dr. Kwankwaso, PhD civil engineering, issues about security, which he said he would deal with, issues about how Nigeria had consistently over the years made wrong choices and where that has brought us. And how, in the crisis in the Northeast and in the Northwest is as a result of this scramble for mineral resources in Nigeria. And then, of course, he has also talked about education. So I think he should be engaged more. He should focus more on those issues. And if he thinks that Peter Obi is not so important, why the obsession with him? Okay, so this is perhaps why Pastor Tunde Bakare was right in saying that Peter Obi's obedient movement is a memory jogger. Absolutely. That was how he described him in that his famous January 15, sermon. But on the whole, it's the people of Nigeria that will decide. Folashade Aliyu made a very good case for Dr. Kwankwaso and the NNPP, but at the end of the day, we'll see how all of this pans out.
Yeah, well, Ayo, there has been a lot of mixed reactions emanating from Kwankwaso's speech at the Chatham House, and one of them is what Dr. Abati mentioned, trying to degrade Peter Obi as a trader. A lot of people, obedience, like you would call them, have, come at him. Some of them are saying, well, you are a PhD holder, you haven't been able to return millions of, during your tenure, there were a lot of out-of-school children, but during Peter Obi's tenure, that education was the top priority there. So, those are some of the issues here that people were raising.
Very well said. I don't know why there's dignity in labor. Let me put it that way. So whether you're a trader, a mechanic, a vulcanizer, as long as you're working to earn money, there's dignity in that. And I think that it's time we started to respect that and not put people down and say that, oh, you're this or this profession or that profession. If he's a trader that has made such strides as we have highlighted, then it's something to be proud of. We must continue to even push more the dignity in work in Nigeria more than ever, especially with the rise of advanced free forward and the like. So where people want a quick way to money. When you find a man or woman who is willing to work and engage his hands to work to earn money, then that's brilliant. But going back to his Chatham appearance, he spoke to some issues, but what would have liked to see was perhaps a bit more, spending more time. And that is a problem with politics, whereby you spend your time speaking about your candidate.
Yes.
You don't actually have enough time to spend, and some people call it a distractory or diversionary tactic. So if you don't want to, when you don't have enough material to present, then you begin to speak about the other person. His representative, though, said that it was because he had to clear the air since it had been going on around, in terms of the fact that why didn't they come to an alliance? Would it have been better? His description of what happened gives an indication of what the conversation might have sounded like, because he said the reason why they didn't come to an agreement was because Mr. Peter Obi was riding high on media publicity at the time. So it seemed as if there was a conversation, obviously, and he felt like he was too big, he became too proud because of what he had been hearing, and so didn't want to concede, and vice versa. That seemed like what must have happened. But that's over and done with now. We're still having conversations around that. But now let's focus. We have 37 days to the elections. He claims that the NNPP is a national party and still said that it's still only prevalent, at least in terms of the work they've been doing, the inroads in the north. Like I said to you off air, just before we came on air, Oji, it's almost beginning to seem like this has become a three-party race.
if we're being honest, and watching what's on ground.
Yes.
It was a 4-party race now, but NNPP doesn't seem to be giving us the juice or what we thought we saw in the early stages of the campaign.
Yeah. Well, you know that comment where he made stating that, you know, the Labour Party was carried away by media hype. I mean, isn't that what you should look for in a party? So it's a bit off as well. But we'll take another story. Pastor Tunde Bakare, the serving overseer of the Citadel Global Community Church, has been trending on social media after tackling critics who opposed his State of the Nation address on Sunday, January 15th. Bakare took a swipe at the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, during a live broadcast, stating that politicians who practice the Emi Lokon kind of politics do not intend to serve the people. The Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, in responding to Bakare, said that a man who got 0 votes at a primary election deserves no serious attention and described him as a political paperweight. Well, Tunde Bakare hit back at the APC, asking why his utterances were given any thought if he was truly a political paperweight, further stating that maybe their alleged paperweight is too heavy for them to carry.
I am prepared for vicious attacks from all and major presidential hopefuls and their agents who by now have concluded that I'm against them. One of such attacks came yesterday. Listen to what they wrote about the State of the Nation broadcast. I'm quoting them. A man who got 0 votes at primary election deserves no serious attention. Question, why did they then respond? A man who got 0 votes at primary election deserves no serious attention. He is a political paperweight whose utterances should not be given a serious thought. Can someone tell these people that scoring 0 in a primary election with one's true identity and integrity intact, as well as having original credentials from all well-known schools, primary, secondary, colleges, university, within and outside of this nation, is a veritable badge of honor, absolutely legit and unquestionable. Please tell them that in the words of Michel de Montaigne, there are some defeats more triumphant than victories.
You know, I love that. There are some defeats more triumphant than victory. Dr. Bati, Tunde Bakare is your friend, so I'm giving you the room here to speak.
No, just to look at the point. I mean, if you make a statement, you must expect a response.
Yes.
On January 15, Pastor Bakare gave that explosive sermon in which he was talking about, you know, some people having a sense of entitlement and how a sense of entitlement will lead to an imperial presidency that is not in the best interest of Nigerians, and how the objective should be good governance. Okay? And then he talked about what should be the priorities for the average Nigerian. Getting people who deliver good governance, not people who think that they are entitled. And he used this phrase, Emi Lokon, although he did not mention the name of the candidate of the APC. But as a lawyer, he knows that there's something called innuendo. So if you make your innuendo so clear, everybody will know. So the APC people replied, they called him a paperweight. And then he has replied again, exercising his own right of reply. Absolutely. This time around. But, as a pastor, he has the right to have his own opinions. The pulpit is used, to conscientize the people, either in Christian manner or in political manner. And it is wrong for anybody to say a pastor cannot discuss politics. He has been in politics since the early 2000s. In fact, I think he was detained at the time by even the Obasanjo government detained him. He was involved in the protest for good governance, for democracy in Nigeria from even 1999 up till even 2012 and beyond. In 2011, he was a candidate of the was it the APC at the time, or was it the ACN? He was running mate to the then candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, who is now president. So he's been in the political space. So to say he's a paperweight, I think he's just saying, oh, if his words don't carry weight, then why respond to him? But we're going to get a lot of this. Endorsements, protests, contestations, but all we just want is a very credible electoral process that provides the opportunity for the average Nigerian to make an informed choice.
Absolutely. Aya, really quickly.
Very quickly, another thing he said in that statement was that they had accused him of telling his members to vote in a particular way. And he said that his members were not zombies, and it was a doctored video. It was a sermon he had preached some years ago, which the, some mischief makers had gone to be, seem as if he was telling people who to vote for. He said people had a right to choose whomever they wanted to vote for. No one has the right to tell you who to vote for, and Nigerians should go out on February 25 and March 11, based on what they have seen and credibility of candidates, choose whom they feel is the best person to be their leader.
Well said, both of you. Thank you again, as always.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you very much, Jamaica.
Absolutely. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.